Throw it back gentle.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pair of Kings podcast. I'm your host, Saul Thompson. You can find me on Instagram at Saul Thompson. This week, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host.
Hey guys, I'm Michael Smith. You can find me on Instagram at @_Smithstagram.
Okay. Making me nervous.
We could honestly just share a microphone.
Oh, fuck.
We don't need two.
If you'd
We
like to
just
see
both
what's
speak into
going
the
on right
same
now,
one.
go over to either herohero.co/POK to see the video, or go over to our YouTube.
Your eyes are such a beautiful color in the studio lights.
Okay. You're really warm. Welcome back, everybody, to the best fashion podcast in the world. I'm
The
your
best
host, Saul Thompson.
podcast in the world.
There's some good podcasts. I don't think we're the best podcast.
What else you listen to? True crime?
No. Who pooped on the floor at my wedding? Great
Wait,
podcast.
Is it a whole podcast?
It's like a
called
murder.
Who?
They hire like a private investigator because somebody
Oh.
shit on the floor at their wedding.
Is this real?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
This is the.
They
this,
do like fecal analysis.
This is the
it's
same
incredible.
vibe as Whatever Happened to the Pizza at McDonald's.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is like a 6-season long podcast.
I
of a
was
guy
gonna
trying to
do
figure out.
a 4-part podcast about what happened to all the rhino dick pills in gas
I remember
stations.
this.
Yeah. Maybe I'll write that when I'm bored in school in the library. Anyway, Michael, get us started with a fit check. This is a fashion
Ooh.
podcast.
Hey guys, we talk about clothes and fashion and clothing and fashion.
Yeah.
And fashionable clothing.
Mm.
Today I am wearing Nanushka sweatshorts that I got for free because they sent us a bunch of clothes, which is nice. And I am wearing a Basketcase shirt that I actually just bought from their pop-up. It's got a xenomorph on it, which is the dude from Alien. It's a real, like, kind of sassy looking one. Cunty? Am I allowed to say cunty?
Yeah, I think so. Have you seen the photo of the xenomorph?
Fiona, am I not allowed to say cunty? Sorry, Mom.
Have you seen the photo of the xenomorph in costume smoking a cig?
Yeah.
Yannick, could you throw that up for all of the video listeners? Thank you so much.
The Alien 3 or Alien Resurrection had these like smaller like teenager aliens.
Yeah.
And they wanted them to be dogs.
Yeah.
And they got like greyhounds and put them in a
xenomorph hat,
suit. And it was impossible to work with, and they scrapped all of that. But there's a little bit of footage of like
I've seen it.
greyhounds dressed as xenomorphs like running down a hallway. It's wonderful.
I'm wearing some Levi's 505s with a ton of heel bite, my self-edge belt, and then a camp collar shirt, I believe, from the Guilty Parties, which is part of like the Wacko Maria.
We were talking about this today.
I still don't really understand the designation between the three.
For the longest time, I thought like Wacko Maria was a brand and Guilty Parties was a brand, and they did collabs. But they're like the same brand.
So this says Guilty Parties Paradise Tokyo, and then the neck tag says...
that also says... Wait, Outragedom Inc. Tokyo, the Guilty Parties.
Sick. So shout out to the outraged Dom that's selling me my clothes.
Shout out this outrageous Dom who sold me this Hawaiian-looking shirt, but with demon faces on it.
Yeah. Oh, and then my friends got me a chain for my birthday.
Little fish necklace.
It's fish. It's 2 fish that I've named Charles and Xavier, but it's me and Leo. I figured they deserve their own names, not just Saul and Leo.
They're from Good Art Hollywood.
Yeah, thanks, Good Art Boys.
Shout out Good Art.
So I have a couple of topics I'd like to talk to Michael about today, because we're trying to keep this as a fashion podcast. So I'll kick the conversation off. Actually, real quick, if you'd like to join the Discord, message us. Actually, just message us and ask for stickers, and then also say, "And can I join the Discord?" And I'll send you stickers. I've spent a couple $100s on postage.
There are so many people who want stickers.
We've sent over 300 envelopes out, which is crazy. Thank you so much to everybody for listening. I genuinely didn't know we had fans like that.
I know his hand hurts right now.
I bought my local post office out of international stamps, which I didn't think could happen. The lady was like, "Oh, you're back again." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry." And she's like, "Yeah, we have 6 international stamps left." And I was like,
I just love stamps. I eat them. They're just,
taking them like LSD tabs, but they're
just
huge.
Let's take a trip. You want to go international, baby?
It's a funny joke. I'm gonna make that later.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you should
Yeah.
take credit for it too.
The other one that I was gonna do is parody like the abusive roommate situation, but it's Leo. Be like, I'm shit talking, but they don't have social media, and then it's just like my loser abusive roommate who like throws up in my bed. Ask for GoFundMe money.
Need help escaping abusive household.
Anyway, not to make light of those situations, there are a lot of people who like claim shitty roommates because they ask them to do the dishes in New York, and it would be clear it was a joke.
That is okay to joke about, not
Yeah,
the
yeah.
actual.
Yes, correct.
There is a serious side of this that has been taken out of context.
Correct. Fashion podcast. So
Fashion podcast.
if you'd like to join the Discord, Happiest Place in Fashion, message us that. But I really wanted to talk today, and I'll give a little bit of backstory just as to why I was thinking about this. So I was at Essex. Yannick, if you could throw up the store. We're ardent supporters.
Shout
We
out
love
Essex.
Fifi, who's the store manager, and Laura, who runs the store sort of behind the scenes and is higher up than Fifi. But we were there, and I was looking through some of their new stock lists because they've gotten in a lot of new brands that are pretty impressive.
They're
actually.
always getting in new brands. It's really cool.
And they have great stuff. If you're in New York, swing by. There's a non-zero chance that Michael and I will be there at any given time. But they started carrying Enfants Riche de Prime, which is
yeah, they did.
run by a guy named Henri.
Hey.
He's French.
Did you know
I know.
that Enfants Riche de Prime did they did a collaboration with Daft Punk,
Maxfield.
which is Daft Punk is a French house musician.
It's just one guy?
It's just one guy.
Okay.
He is the Daft Punk.
Sure.
Yeah, he wears a motorcycle helmet.
Oh, okay.
And they did a collaboration with him. There's leather jackets. I've been trying to get one,
Oh,
but they're
cool.
always like $3,000.
It's a lot more than 3,000 nowadays. Sorry, buddy. So I noticed that they'd been carrying them, and I love talking to Fifi about this sort of thing. I'll usually ask if I'm in a store about this, but I'm like, what is selling right now? Obviously at full retail, and who's buying it? I think it's really interesting because sometimes I feel like we lose perspective. Michael and I hunt down a lot of deals and aren't necessarily looking in the conventional channels. I don't know. I can't really remember the last time I bought something retail, maybe to support a friend. But, you know, like I went to a website, bought something, retail price, bang. I don't know. Can you?
From like today, I went to the Basketcase
Yeah,
pop-up and I bought like 2 shirts. But
not the
that's,
homies.
Yeah, that's homies. And that's also like expensive for a t-shirt, but it's not like... I'm not buying any of the like high fashion stuff.
Yeah.
Retail never have, probably never will.
Yeah. So again, just context. So I was in the store and I said, "Hey, Fifi, who's buying ERD? Because it sells well. It sells really well."
I actually, I mean,
what?
go on.
No.
I'm really surprised by that. I have a very cynical outlook on ERD.
Sure.
I don't like them.
Okay.
I think they're a little too edgy
Sure.
and like I think they're selling on their edginess and they're just being expensive.
Sure.
Like they are their name is Depressed Rich Kids, and
Correct.
they're pretty much exclusively bought by people with wealthy parents.
So, talking to Fifi about this, and she said a lot of the people that come in buy it retail, and maybe not a common phrase, but a phrase that is brought up while people are checking out is, "Let me call my mom and see if this is okay," which is fine. I understand people have money. You can be bitter about it. I've made my peace. But I really did want to talk to Michael about, because I do think it is an interesting phenomenon in fashion when a brand has a very, very dedicated following who will buy things at retail, and basically exclusively wear it. But I feel like unless they're wearing one of the leather jackets or something that says ERD, you wouldn't necessarily be able to pick somebody out of a lineup who's wearing Enfants Riche de Prime, because it's all distressed jeans. Honestly, are pretty well made for the most part. I think the leather jackets are very well made.
Which is why the second you start talking to anybody wearing ERD, they'll be like, "Oh, my shirt's ERD, by the way."
Yeah. But again, the point is I wanted to start a dialogue about brands that have those sort of followings. And when you see somebody wearing it, you're either completely unaware or you could clock it immediately.
Right. And I think there's a lot of those brands well established. A lot of the more, I think every large high fashion designer brand has a set of followers.
Sure.
Like you could find a person who's like, you could find a Gucci person.
I don't know if you could find again, this is men's fashion, so we'll focus in a little bit more on this. Do you know anybody who is like only wearing and buying Prada?
Yes.
Really?
I've talked to people at parties
Sure.
who were like, oh yeah, I'm like really into Prada. I just got this Prada thing. Like Prada's kind of my brand.
Huh.
Which I guess that is interesting because if I saw someone wearing Prada, I would not be like, oh, that's a Prada person.
Exactly.
I would be like, oh, they bought that Prada jacket.
Sure. I think brands, and I had some examples on my phone. I looked, like Rick is very clear when somebody's a Rick Owens person.
That's super obvious. That's the like.
Yeah. Another example, we were at the Basketcase pop-up, and I looked around at the line. I was like, interesting. I feel like I could clock these kids pretty quickly.
That is all Basketcase kids.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because Basketcase does logos and stuff. Overall, they're making like jeans and t-shirt type clothing.
Yep.
And I can immediately like see who's wearing jeans and a t-shirt because of Basketcase.
Yeah.
And who's wearing it because of like anything else.
It's very easy to tell like a Rogue Garms shirt and jeans guy from a Basketcase shirt and jeans guy. I would say Basketcase is usually from top to bottom, like slightly messy hair, cut like Zach's, stone washed or washed out black tee.
And
that
like
either
cropped and like wide.
Yep, cropped and wide. Usually they've got their underwear pulled up above their jeans that are a little bit baggy and either no belt or like fashion guy belt. I don't know how else to describe it. And then like dragging on the floor length, washed, heavy washed, blue or black jeans. And then I guess you can't really usually see the shoes.
But it's a lot of boots and like loafers.
Yeah.
I think this is not in any way to praise rather than
I really commend
degrade
Basketcase. We love them.
I think
genuinely.
Basketcase has done an incredible job of their marketing and their like building of a community.
Yep.
And I think part of the reason they are so good at building a community is because they've just like they're really good at advertising. They have like marketed to exactly the right people and they have put the exact like they've put a lot of money into their branding and their like outreach.
Yeah.
And they've also just done a really good job of like connecting with people.
They're also extremely consistent.
Yeah. And they're always like every pop-up, they're always answering a ton of questions. They're always like doing audience interaction things. Zach is at the front of every pop-up.
Correct.
Saying hello to just about everybody.
Yep.
Knows people's names who are at all of them. Like if people come repeatedly, even I now go to Basketcase pop-ups and see the same people at the front of the line, say hi to them, like have met them because they're always there. They're so dedicated. I think that brand is one of the best currently doing it. I like their clothes. I love the community that they're building.
I will really commend Zach. And I think a wonderful example of the type of person he is, and this isn't an anecdote I tell for any other reason, that I'm like, this is the guy that Zach is. We were in line. Mark Boudelier and I were talking outside, and they had a big Yeti, like a big cooler of Topo Chicos out front. And they were handing them out to people in line, and a girl dropped hers. It shattered, and a shard caught her leg, so she was bleeding. One of the security guards immediately ran over, like made sure she was okay. The girl was crying, made sure she was all right, immediately called her an Uber to emergency care. Zach came out, and I was like, hey, he was first of all handing other Topo Chicos out. I don't think he was aware of the situation. He came back, he was like, hey, what's up? And I tried to grab him. He was like, hold on one sec. Ran back. He was like, hey, what's going on? I was like, hey, not to make a big deal. Girl over there like dropped a Topo Chico and cut her leg. You might just want to make sure she's okay. He like dropped everything and ran over. Really cared. Obviously, I understand it's like a liability if somebody hurts themselves in your line, but made sure she was okay. I think like got her name, made sure she was all right. It wasn't like a please don't sue me. It was like, oh fuck, I'm really sorry. Like he's a good guy. And I think that also lends back into the conversation about why they have such a strong community and people that really care about the brand.
Yeah.
And I think you can sniff in a brand that sort of disingenuity or disingenuity, however the fuck you say that word. And that's why certain brands have really good or bad interactions with their followers. Another good example is we went to the Rick store. They're sort of in New York now. I used to go when I was a kid, and there were just people constantly hanging out outside. Now it's a little bit less so. I guess there's still a crowd that does.
Yeah, the Rick store used to be kind of like you could just, and since COVID, a lot of these
Yeah.
Soho stores have done this thing where like it's kind of a one in, one out, and every person there has to be matched up to a sales associate.
Yep.
I think partly to stop people from loitering, but also just to like have more of that like luxury experience or whatever. It started as a COVID thing, and I think they realized it was much easier to like actually give someone a personal like walkthrough.
But it's nice that they give the personal walkthrough. Everybody in the store is wearing Rick. They're very nice. They're very helpful.
They're required to.
Yeah, they're required to. But I think you can tell when they're like disingenuous. How would I put it? They're there not only because they work there, but because they like the brand, which is weird a little bit. Obviously, it's a job. I get it. But like
the current manager of the Rick store, who was not a manager when I started visiting, who was just like a regular sales associate, the guy who's been promoted to manager is like sort of as big of a Rick nerd as I am. Like I can talk to him about materials and codes and like seasons from prior to him being there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, like I know about this. I have like." He seeks out like older stuff that he's interested in. Which I think is really part of the experience.
Yeah. But again, sort of bringing it back to the conversation at hand, I do think it is really interesting that a brand like ERD, they don't really have a store. They're stocked in a lot of stores, but they have like a fervent following. And people that will buy a lot of ERD. If you look on Grail, the stuff resells for like close to retail, if not more, which is kind of crazy. And it's really interesting. I think it is a really interesting brand, despite what I think about maybe the aesthetics, or like you could probably find the shirts in a similar way. They are comfortable. There are some quality control issues on the shirts. The leather is really nice. I like their leather jackets.
ERD to me is the old school iPhone app that cost $1,000.
Oh, the Billionaire app.
Was it? Yeah. How much did it cost?
It was $1 million.
Was it actually $1 million?
Yeah, it was the Billionaire app.
That app, that to me is, it's because you're just buying it so you can be like, hey, check this out.
That's Chrome Hearts to me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Chrome Hearts.
Chrome Hearts also has an insane following. Dudes love Chrome Hearts
more so than ERD has like identifiable branding.
Yep.
They have like, I think they make really good looking jewelry. They have good jewelry designers.
I'd say it's very distinctive. I don't love all the. I think some of their accessories are really cool. I've seen some stuff and I'm like, okay, sure. Oh, great job! You put cross on something. Great job, guys.
That's branding, baby. But like, I think that yes, Chrome Hearts is like pretty exclusively like a signifier, but I also think like a lot of people will save up for a Chrome Hearts piece to be like, to have like this necklace or whatever, but not the same people would not like save up for an ERD t-shirt just to say they owned an ERD t-shirt.
I think there are people that are doing that though.
Probably.
And that's what makes it really interesting to me. The stuff sells. It sells really quick. And people buy it basically at retail. They fucking love it. And it's really interesting to me. I like two or three pieces from ERD, and they all have to do with Daft Punk. That's it. It has been constantly mind-boggling to me because it pops up, and it's always at like $1,500 or $1,600 baseline, and people will not go lower, and it sells, which is crazy.
Like, how do you know someone's a vegan? Don't worry, they'll tell you.
Yeah. How do you know somebody's wearing ERD?
Don't worry, they'll tell you.
I mean, so I think there are other brands like this, which is really cool. We talked about Rick. We talked about Basketcase.
But those are also like sort of the opposite end of the same devotion.
Yeah.
Where it's like those are people who are devoted because of an experience and because of like a like a community and like you put on that outfit and you're immediately associated with this group.
Yeah. The other example that I would give is like CCP.
Yeah.
I have my own opinion of CCP, guys. How do you know somebody's wearing CCP? They'll tell you.
They look like shit and they're not making eye contact.
Their stuff is really tight in a weird spot. Like, again, like CCP is a great example. I think Yoji is a really good example. I think Old Comb is a really good example. Like,
but these are all brands with distinctive design languages.
Correct. But I think that's cool. And for all I'll yam on people that wear CCP and people that are fervent supporters and spending, $3,800 on a leather jacket that looks kind of fucked up.
I like a lot of CCP stuff. I'm gonna say that right now. I like.
Don't say tornadoes, please.
I love tornadoes.
No.
Tornadoes are good boots.
Yeah.
I would never pay like $1,000 for a stinky secondhand pair that doesn't fit at all. But they're a well-designed boot.
I feel like part of my hate is that I don't own any. I feel like I'd get a pair of tornadoes and be like, these shits rock. You're not on this.
My Cameron owns a pair.
Okay.
My neighbor.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Okay.
He so rarely busts them out because they're like, it's a weird. I don't know. I would get a pair in a heartbeat if I balled out like that.
Yeah,
but
very fair.
It's hard to design a boot that looks good with the shaft fully covered. Go on, make a joke. Go on.
I'm good.
Go on.
Keep talking.
Go on.
I'm good.
Like Rick boots, all of them look like shit if you're wearing long pants over them.
Yeah.
Like
all Rick boots?
Pretty much.
I feel like the tractor soles look kind of cool.
No, that's so bad.
Really?
I hate. Sorry to
no.
all of y'all out there.
Speak your shit.
So Rick boots look good if the entire boot is covered.
Yes.
Right. Like if you can see just a little toe, Rick shoes are designed for that.
Okay, that's the way that I'm thinking of it.
If you're wearing slim straight jeans like Detroit's,
yeah,
and you've got creepers or bozos coming out the bottom.
Which ones are those?
Creepers are the regular boots that I wear. Bozos are the tractor sole ones.
Got it.
If you're wearing either of those poking out the bottom, it looks really bad.
You got Sonic the Hedgehog leg?
Yeah, kinda. Yeah.
Cool.
And CCP has managed to design one of the only boots I like in that type of outfit.
Okay.
It's the way that they're pointy.
Sure.
But
yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And I don't know. The thing about, plenty of my friends are CCP wearers. All right.
You're an apologist?
I'm not. It's just that the like median person I've met who's wearing full CCP has been kind of unbearable. And I don't know if that's just like, I don't know if that's the brand or if I don't know if that's the people I'm meeting or I don't know if I have bad like judgment.
I think every year after the RNC, there's a meeting in that same building with all the same people. They get all the CCP wearers together and they're like, listen, guys, we'll throw you the 45% discount. Just like keep doing what you're doing. It's very young Republican core in my head. Yeah. I don't know. I don't own any CCP. Expect to switch up when it happens.
I'm hating from outside the club.
Exactly.
Someone lend me $2,000. I'll make an entire.
It's a lot more than $2,000.
I could find you sold
full fit.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I don't want a full fit. I like dressing good.
We just made faces at each other for all the audio listeners.
I tried on a CC. I don't like CCP pants. I tried on a CCP coat the other day that was like kind of beautiful. It was really good. It was $3,000 at Tokyo 7.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
So
more like
that's like
yeah. I don't know. Okay. Good conversation?
That was a conversation.
Feel like it was productive?
Yeah.
Great.
I feel I would like to say it.
Ooh.
Today, on this day, we so Saul and I today spent a few hours in the Lower East Side.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the Basketcase Gallery pop-up. We went to Colbo. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Fugazi.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went to Komune.
Mm-hmm.
And also we ran into some people from Essex.
Mm-hmm.
And I...
It was all the homies.
In this day, feel really good and positive and optimistic about the, like, New York fashion social scene.
The kids are going to be all right, which is kind of crazy. Yeah.
Like, I think that you hear a lot about, like, old New York and how there were these, like, places people could hang out and, like CBGB's, this, like, famous...
Yep.
And there's more places than just that, but that's the, like, sort of meme of it all. These places that were so, like, formative to the culture and so like
Mhm.
important, and we're just like a place for young people to like hang out.
Mhm.
And it's really, I feel like when I go to Fugazi and when I go to Komune, I feel like I am in one of those spaces as it's developing. Like
Yeah.
they're building a store not even around the idea of selling you anything.
So I will scream this from the rooftops. First of all, I love the guys in the Fugazi store, and I give Nick in particular a lot of shit because we have beef, and I'm standing on his block and he's not doing anything.
Went
10
to his
toes-
neighborhood,
10
nobody
toes,
knew him.
10 toes down in his store, and he didn't say a word. No, I give Nick a lot of shit, but again, I really commend. They're doing it for like, obviously they have to make money. They are brands, they are stores. They have to pay rent, keep the lights on, and pay the people that work there. But they give a fuck. I was in New York as a kid in the Supreme line, and there was a tangible feeling there that you were part of a community, part of something that was happening. You felt it when you went into.
But I feel like the Supreme store was not trying to cultivate that.
No. But there was a community there.
Yeah, of people.
Forming.
Yeah.
You went to like opening ceremony, and that little pocket, it was like opening ceremony, Rick Owens, and I think across the street was still Margiela.
Mhm.
And there was like a community outside that was also like, that was the community. I think I was too young to really like meet people. I just kept my head down and like went
Yeah.
and touched clothes because I was 15 or 16. And everybody, I was so scared of the Rick Owens guys. I was like, oh my God, the goths are terrifying. Anyway, I'm a little bit older now, I'm 25, which is crazy. But there is a tangible feeling. And if you go, I could almost guarantee if anybody watching this or listening to this went into Komune as an example, and obviously this comes with caveat, if you're respectful and a nice person,
Yeah.
if you're not going in and being a dickhead.
But like, I think it's important to stress, regardless of what you're wearing.
Correct. If you go in and you show a modicum of interest and you are a nice person and you ask for help, Brandon at Komune will treat you the same way. Seth at Fugazi will treat you the same way. Fifi might give you a little bit of shit, but that's the big homie Fifi. We love Fifi at Essex, right? There's something brewing in New York. And I think it's really cool. I think a lot of brands are just starting to grow. Like, watch this space, but it's not us.
Yeah.
It's I guess we're sort of watching it happen and talking about it with all the people.
It's really cool. Essex, I think, is not as like I love Essex.
Yeah.
Essex is a little bit of a scarier store in general.
Yeah, I also think that's sort of in this like recultivation, the opening ceremony.
Yes.
I think you need a brand or a store that stocks a ton of brands where people can go and, like, I hate to say it, loiter and just look at cool clothes that they can't necessarily buy.
Right.
But they're accessible and you can go and try them on.
And like a place where you go because it's the only place in New York you can look at Vetements. And when you're there, you discover like all of these brands you didn't know about.
Yeah. Yes.
And
it's not, I hate to say it, but I think there was an epidemic from, I want to say 2018 to 2023. All the stores in New York stock the same fucking 10 brands. And again, they all kind of suck. Like, our legacy.
say names. There you
That's
go.
fine. I'll throw them out. Our legacy, I think they make everything undercover. And I mean, just take Undercover as an example. They remake Undercover stuff slightly nicer, and they like give it a shave, if that makes sense. They make it look more appealing.
Yeah, they take
just because it's
decals
clean.
off.
Exactly. Right. That's a good example. Another one was like, and I hate to say it, needles. Like, oh, Japanese brand, quick, let's get needles. Right. How many fucking pairs of tracksuits do you want in this fucking store? Like, please get something different. Right.
Oh, the other, what's the Japanese brand store that just opened?
Studios.
Studios.
They have a lot of cool stuff.
I remember this because they have a lot of needles track pants, but they also have a lot of cool stuff, and they have a lot of brands I didn't previously know.
I went to Studios in Japan in 2017.
Look at this Studios ass foo.
And I was blown away. I was like, there's so many more brands that I didn't know about. Like, you went into opening ceremony and it was like they had a little bit of CDG, they had a little bit of Undercover. They stocked some, interesting shoes. I think they actually had a Aloha Blossom at the time. I was like, oh, this is really cool. Would I pay $300 for a Camp Color shirt? No. Would I pay $300 for this? Also no. But like, there needs to be a space to discover. And obviously some people are going to go in and be able to drop a bag. I'm still not at that point. I'm 25.
Glad someone's doing it though.
Yeah.
Keep them afloat.
There needs to be something that sparks the interest, especially for younger people getting into fashion. I can say this with hindsight being 2020.
Yeah.
It's what got me into it. It's what made me excited. I was like, these clothes are so fucking cool. Maybe I
Yeah.
can save up. But it got me researching what are the other alternatives? What brands can I wear to look like this?
Honestly, do you know what that store was for me
Ooh.
growing up?
Let's hear it. Nordstrom? Saks Fifth?
American Rag, CIE,
Really?
who reached out to us recently
Very nice
about
people.
some vintage thing they're doing.
Yeah.
But American Rag, I used to go to LA,
Mm-hmm.
like, because it was the closest thing to Arizona.
Yeah.
I would drive to LA. I had some
Ooh.
friends there. I would crash on their couch.
Oh.
And it was down the street from the Rick store. So obviously I went to the Rick store because I was so obsessed with Rick and trying to I had like a pair of Geo baskets and I'd put them on and and be like, oh my God, I hope they like it. But then I would go to American Rag and it has just a bit of everything.
Yeah.
And I was still very much in my workwear phase and they had a whole section of Hickey Freeman and who does all the Japanese the
Engineering garments?
no, who does the World War II repro stuff?
Buzz
Rickson
Rickson, yes,
and
correct.
Roy something. Real McCoys.
Yes.
They had all that stuff.
Is Real McCoy's Japanese?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were American for some reason.
I'm pretty
Fine.
sure they are.
Sure.
They're just very much
Yeah.
Americana. I just I saw all of those brands. I saw N Hollywood
Oh yeah.
for the first time and
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's
I
really
thought
cool.
it was North Hollywood. I don't know.
It's it is
I know.
North
Yeah,
Hollywood.
Yes.
That's one of the first stores that I would go and see a bunch of brands I'd never heard of and couldn't afford, but it got me thinking about what I liked.
Yep.
And then I think the same people who owned that opened a store in Scottsdale.
Whoa. Okay.
I'm pretty sure this was the connection. There's the people who owned American Rag owned this store in Scottsdale that sold it's where I bought my first Naked and Famous jeans.
Sure.
Same sort of stuff where they just had a bit of everything. And I would go in there the depths of their sale and buy the cheapest shit they had.
You know what I think this is?
What?
I was talking when we were at Komune. I was talking to a woman outside because she was like, "Oh, your dog is beautiful." I was like, "Thank you so much."
Oh, the
Very
old
sweet.
lady?
She was there with her 2 kids, one in high school and one who was
Oh.
just in college. And I was like, "Oh my God, she's the cool mom," right?
Yeah.
When I had a mom who would travel for business, and she would be in LA, and I remember she came back and she was like, "I got you something." And this is when I was in middle school, right? She was like, I went into this store, I went into Nordstrom and I talked to the sales associate and I wanted to get you something. And I talked to them and they helped me pick this out. They said, it's the coolest thing. Everyone's wearing it, whatever. And she comes out and it's Billionaire Boys Club. This was in 2014.
That is the coolest thing.
And when I got it, I was like, Mom, this is so fucking stupid. This is so mortifying. What the fuck is this brand? I don't even know what it is. In hindsight, my mom fucking cooked.
Yeah,
right?
that's crazy.
You need a place in New York City where if you have a cool mom who's got a little bit of cash and is like, oh, I got you something, she could go into Komune, or I think Essex is a great example, and be like, I got you this.
Yeah.
Everybody in New York is wearing, I don't love the brand personally, but Aristotelovich, right? I got you this shirt. It's really popular. And I'm so sure it's happening right now. And there's some fucking kid in Eugene, Oregon, shout out Eugene, whose mom just got back. He's 14 years old. And she's like, I got you this shirt. It's from Diallo. And he's like, Mom, what the fuck? It's so embarrassing. I don't wear that shit. And in 3 years, he's going to be into fashion. He's going to be like, fuck, my mom's really cool.
I never should have gotten rid of that shit.
Right?
Yeah.
I still have that Billionaire Boys Club sweatshirt somewhere.
That's so tight.
It's next to my Supreme box logo in storage.
My dad went on a business trip to Japan
Whoa.
and knew I was didn't know anything about raw denim, but
Yeah.
knew a couple names. Brought me back a Momotaro phone case.
Yo.
Like you put it on your
Yeah,
belt
yeah,
and it's
yeah.
raw denim phone case.
Sick.
I used that shit for years. I still have it. It's in a box over there.
My mom was the one that put me onto Division.
Yo.
The D. She came back. She was in, I think, South Korea maybe in it was my freshman year of college. This was 2018. She was like, I got you this. And I was like, oh my fucking God, Mom. It's a flannel with the hoodie attached and it looks like it's 2 layered. What fucking dumb bum is going to wear this? I feel so bad because I didn't wear the shirt at all. And then I wore it one time in like junior year, and everybody's like, "That shirt's sick. Like, where'd you get that?" And I was like, "Oh, my fucking mom got it for me."
My fucking mom
And
bought it for me.
this is with the hindsight of me being like, my mom cooked with the Billionaire Boys Club. Like, she cooked with X, Y,
and
Z.
then you did it again.
Yeah, every time it happens, I'm like, oh my God, my mom knows fucking nothing. I read about fashion. I know so much more. I still have it. It's in storage. It's really cool. I haven't gotten it because, again, I've moved around a lot. But, like, trust your mom. If you have a mom who's like, I talk to X person, like, these people at the stores know their shit.
Yep.
And they know what people are wearing. And they're obviously trying to make a sale. But, like, they know what they're fucking talking about. If you talk to Fifi, she'll be like, yeah, this is what people are buying. This is what people are wearing. We had X NBA player come in and buy a bunch of Diallo or buy a bunch of Marnie, which it's not really like a kid's brand, but like you get my point, right?
Who was the NBA player wearing the like full Marnie outfit and it looked
James Harden.
yeah, the like
So
real
dog shit.
Yeah.
He don't have
Unrelated.
internet like that.
He don't got internet.
That's the same guy.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know James Harden.
Okay, great.
I'm like I don't know shit about basketball. I know the names of like 4 or 5 players
Sure.
who are like moved beyond their basketball
Yeah.
career.
Okay. Very
You
fair.
know?
Yeah.
Like I could name 4 basketball players probably.
Other than James Harden?
Yeah.
Like who?
LeBron James.
Nice.
Do they have to be currently active?
No.
Kobe
What's his last name?
Bryant.
Rapist, but fine.
I mean, yep.
You saw
Steve
him
Nash.
Wow. Oh, Arizona.
Arizona,
Sure.
baby.
And you saw one of them the other day.
Oh, I cannot pronounce his last name.
Give it a shot. It's okay.
It's Giannis. I cannot.
Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo.
Kumpo. Sorry, there's
I know
an
the
M.
last syllable. I know
Yeah.
Kumpo. But
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
He walked past me the other
Giannis
day.
Antetokounmpo. Really
And
cool.
Shaq.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, I know people who've kind of like
Do you know Shaq's full name?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm proud
Come
of you.
on.
Yeah.
Do you know his
that's-
DJ name?
Big Diesel, right? DJ Diesel?
Yeah, something like that.
He's really good at giving nicknames to things. He
Yeah.
came up with the Big Ticket, which was Kevin Garnett's. He came up with The Truth.
Oh, I know Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, he came up with The Truth, which was Paul Pierce. He came up.
Chris Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah. And who's the other one? Who's the other stylish one in the Suns?
Oh.
Devon.
Yep. What are those over there? You've got about 80 of them on a shelf.
Booker.
There you go.
Devon Booker.
Yeah.
I know basketball.
Yeah.
I know the people who are like, who get famous outside of basketball for something other than throwing ball.
Yeah.
So I just, what was I gonna say? It is really. This is just to round off that point before we started talking about basketball.
Mm-hmm.
It is really cool to see places like Fugazi and places like Komune that are built.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to Fugazi, they're selling stuff,
Mhm.
but selling stuff feels like really just a fraction of what they're there to do.
Yeah.
Like the clothing takes up a third of that store.
Yeah. You're right.
The other third is a coffee shop, and then the other third is seating area.
Yeah.
Like they are just making a store that is mostly built around coming to hang out
Mm-hmm.
and like socialize with your friends, and people will do that. And because they are doing that,
It's cool to buy the clothes.
they will look at the clothes.
Yeah.
Like you build the experience and the community first,
Mhm.
and people will come for that, and they will buy clothes.
Yeah.
And Commune is the exact same way.
Yep.
They
I
put
love those guys to death.
benches outside. They reserved a very specific part of it for sitting down
Yep.
on the outside and the inside.
Mhm.
If you talk to anyone at that store about anything,
They light up first.
they
of all.
light up. Yeah, they will talk to you about anything. They're just happy to have you there. And if you ask them about any of those brands, no pressure to buy pretty much ever. They're just
Nope.
like so happy to talk about what you're looking at and what they like about the brand and
Yep.
why they stock the brand and how like the story of how they came to like
If you're lucky
carry
enough
them.
to talk to Brandon while you're there, that kid is like a walking encyclopedia for
he
every
knows
Brandon.
so much about everything in there.
I
and
love Brandon.
the build out of the store.
Oh yeah,
And Martin.
Martin as well. But
like all of
I-
those kids,
yeah.
like they're all so
Yes.
passionate in such
Mhm.
a like
they have such cool stuff. Do you know who did? They have these fucking rings that are made of like insect parts. I want one so bad.
they're really cool. There's
They're
like
really
a ring
fucking
that has
cool.
like a beetle pincer on the end of it.
Yeah.
Ethically sourced, not like
They pulled the legs off of every spider. This is a good time to announce next HeroHero giveaway. If you're interested in signing up, go to herohero.co/POK. We are doing store credit to Komune. We will organize it with them. They don't do formal gift cards, but we will be in communication with them. They're close friends. It is not a nothing amount. It'll probably be either 200 or 250. And you can go hopefully in person to the store if you're lucky enough to be in New York. Or contact them on Instagram. I mean, they have a website, so you know.
I think they're working on. Do they have e-com fully set up, or they're working on it?
I don't think they have everything stocked, but they're working on their e-com.
Cool.
And by the time this episode comes out, and by the time that we announce it, by the time the giveaway closes, this will be live, and we'll figure it out with them in a way that you can go and pick it up, and you know it's easy. Or obviously they'll ship to you. But not a nothing. They have a lot of really cool stuff, but. Head over to herohero.co/POK. You do not need to comment on anything. We pick randomly from the list of subscribers. All you have to do is be subscribed. That is it. Just go herohero.co/POK. It's $4 a month. Helps us keep the lights on, and also allows us to support our friends, show you guys cool stuff, and get you involved with the things that we really love and care about. Yep. So head over. Again, really means a lot to everybody that is subscribed. You will be automatically entered. There will be a closing date that you have to be submitted by. It will be the Monday following the Monday that this will release to the public on a Tuesday. It's the following Monday that this will close. I'll get you the exact date so that we can be very specific.
Yeah. This isn't a HeroHero episode?
No, but this comes out on HeroHero first, and you know,
yep.
Yada yada yada. So this will happen. This episode comes out on to the public on September 10th. You have to be signed up in the HeroHero, subscribed by Monday, September 16th. That is when this closes. The drawing will be for store credit to Komune. You can also add on your own if you would like to get a bigger item, but it will be enough to get you at least something from the store. This also leads into what I would like to talk about next, which is this new, how would I describe it? Sort of the new market being created, the new type of clothing being created in a lot of these spaces, which is we've seen sort of the Supreme era not come and go because they're still around, but that would be, you know, sort of like, I want to say basic streetwear, but what you would define as streetwear, right? Logo centric, usually just a t-shirt, a hoodie, interesting design, maybe, you know, a jacket with a cool fabric. We then moved on to like elevated basics, sort of like your ALD, right?
John Elliott.
But you know what I mean, right? Like the post streetwear. Yeah,
the like streetwear for like streetwear, but you would put like a nice coat over it.
Exactly. Now we're sort of in what I'm defining as like post streetwear world, where there are well-made things at a semi-premium price point. And I'll throw out a brand as a good example. I think Black Merle is a really good example. Where their stuff is expensive, it's well-made, and it usually doesn't focus on a logo. However, it still feels and looks like streetwear. Virgil Abloh said in 2019, streetwear is dead, blah, 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 right? I don't think it is. I think it is changed. I think that Basketcase is a really another good example. I think Fugazi is another good example where they still make t-shirts. That's what allows the brand to stay afloat and sell. It's funny, it's easy, it's very accessible. But they are making, Yannick, if you could throw up one of the Fugazi jackets with the something to me that sort of indicates this is like the metal hook. Do you know what I'm talking about? The fireman clasps?
Yeah.
Right? That's a good example on one of the Fugazi jackets. Yannick, again, if you could zoom in, that'd be great. It's also a lot of work. Basketcase, those pants that everybody loves that Michael
Caldwell
have.
Pants.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is a more thought out approach to streetwear, but it still feels like streetwear, and kids can still get into it and wear it. And it's not too adult. It's not too young. It's not demeaning, but it is streetwear. And I don't think it is dead.
No, I don't think it's dead. I think, I think that the word has changed.
Correct.
I think streetwear is what people are wearing on the streets.
Correct.
And thus probably can't die unless everyone or the streets dies.
Oh, wait until I pop out naked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to love that streetwear.
And that's going to be streetwear.
It's going to be meatwear. You like that one? He's leaving. Thank you so much to everybody for listening to this episode of the Pair of Kings podcast. I've been your host, Saul Thompson. You can find me on Instagram at Saul Thompson. He's gonna go pay.
I think I like the Black Merle stuff was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to describe it. There's like a certain niche of like, I want to say over-engineered clothes.
Sure.
Is what I would call it. Like, I dress very like large and like oversized. But
I'm
I feel
large
like
and in charge, baby.
I feel like it's all very minimal still.
Yeah.
Like it's just one big shape.
Yes.
And I feel like there's a lot of these, there's a lot of this like more sort of like anatomically seamed and like paneled sort of designs, which I think are really cool and I think is so hard to pull off well.
Yeah.
Like often you do that and you end up looking like, I guess over-engineered is what it would be.
Yeah.
Komune carries a lot of those brands who do that kind of like maximalist design of minimal garments.
What is it called with language where you trace the origins of parts of a word, sort of how they've changed?
Etymology.
Etymology. It's really cool because at a store like Komune, you can do the etymology of all of these brands. You know what I mean? Like Black Merle, they have this jacket, sort of looks like mohair. And it's like you took the, how would I say it? Like the functionality of tech wear and like, you know, Valence or Shadow Project and sort of like the way they've cut their pockets and, you know, all of these things. You mixed it with like maybe the material and sort of the coloring of a Rick Owens. And then
Boris. Much more Boris.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
You take the like, because Boris does all this, like, you know, everything's a single piece, but it
Yeah.
seamed a bunch of weird
Yeah.
ways. Or like, they're using like very modern looking cuts with very like ancient looking stitching and
Yeah.
shit like that. Like a lot of that stuff.
And then you took it with, I would even say like Takahiro Miyashita, the soloist, and you took sort of that like a little bit, not disheveled or distressed, but like
Degraded?
yeah, that'd be a good
Yeah,
word.
They're like melting.
And you can sort of like trace it and going through. And I think it's really interesting. And I wish I could coin a term. I'm gonna coin a term during the podcast.
We're gonna coin terms.
I want to say like it's not like streetwear redux, but it's like they all fucked and had a baby. And because you can see like these are kids that I think have grown up in the fashion scene, right? And the fact that we can trace it, at least in some part, we know the references from being like in the fashion world for this long. You can trace it through, and there's sort of like a post, or there's like a rebirth of all of these brands getting mixed together and spat out, and done so in a really good way.
Yeah.
They're not, you know, there was that that phase where everybody was just doing like fake Jordans, right? Because everybody's like, I want to be a designer. Then there was COVID. This is also sort of during COVID, but the fashion, like what will survive, chewed up and spat out the good stuff. And we're left with the good stuff from these kids that I assume have been like raised on these brands and have seen them and loved them and have wanted to make something that they personally connect with or love. And also want to reference these brands that they, I assume, grew up on.
To bring this back to Basketcase,
Yeah.
every time they do a pop-up,
Yes.
Zach is wearing a shirt that if you look at for long enough, you will realize he has made a Basketcase knockoff of.
Yeah.
Like today he was wearing this Radiohead shirt.
Yeah. Tour shirt.
It was like a Radiohead tour shirt that looked kind of like a sports jersey. Like it had numbers on the back and I looked over and I was like, that kid's holding Zach's and it said
Yeah.
Basketcase instead of Radiohead. And
Yeah.
it was almost the same layout of everything.
But also that goes into that. It had the right distressing. It was cut in an interesting way.
yeah, no, it was, like
they thought it
perfect.
through.
He took this. It was an old ass tour shirt too. And
Yeah.
they replicated it exactly. It's not like a bootleg in like a tribute sort of.
They had
sense.
the Scott Pilgrim Smashing Pumpkins reference tee in there.
Did they?
Yeah, because I fucking love Scott Pilgrim. The one with the star.
Oh,
I think it says one.
Yeah, that's a Smashing Pumpkins shirt.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
You know what I mean? Like we've now been around long enough where we're getting the references from like 10 years ago. Like I don't know if you referenced Scott Pilgrim. It's probably the Smashing Pumpkins shirt because it is sort of their most popular one.
Yeah, and he's like a band
Yeah.
shirt kind of guy.
But I think it is really interesting. Like we're seeing now brands be released and compete that aren't just doing, and even Fugazi, I think, is a really good example. They started doing Jordan knockoffs. They got in trouble for it, but Trevor was able to pivot away from just doing North Korea skate team. He now does custom shoes that are made, I believe, in Portugal. He does clothes that are pretty great. I had some Fugazi stuff. It was a little bit big. That's my own fault. I probably should just got a smaller size. But like, you know, I went to the pop-up as a thank you for walking the show. They gave me a jacket, which I gave to a friend. It was her birthday. She loves that fucking jacket. And she says she gets a lot of compliments on it. Like,
Yeah.
This stuff doesn't suck. And it's really interesting. Like, the kids are going to be all right. And we're
Kids are
seeing a
gonna be
new
all right.
wave of like fashion designers and young people. Like, again, we met people who are designing in Komune and they're young. We're going to be doing podcasts with people.
Yeah, a ton of people. We went to the Komune
God, we're going to be so fucking
opening,
busy.
and I kept meeting people who had stuff in that store.
Yeah. And it's good. Like,
and it's good.
again, I think that we're established enough that we can call dog shit. Sorry. And we can be honest about it. And that's sort of really nice. But again, like a lot of the stuff in there, it's like, oh, I want that. Like,
It's really cool to
good.
see focus on and like fans of actual small brands that need support. Like,
no. Sorry, not to you. Leo was licking his penis. Sorry.
like see kids who are like getting into fashion and are going with a brand that actually needs support rather than sending like Rick another $1,000 that he doesn't need.
Dude, we're going to see a lot of kids start dressing like Brandon in New York.
Yeah.
I say that with all of. Brandon dresses very well. The first time I met him was at a Commune pop-up event. He walked in. I was like, fuck, he owns the Raph pants I want. Fuck that kid. Like, I hate this kid. It's out of jealousy because those are really good pants. But like, I saw Brandon and then we talked and I was like, this kid's lovely. I can't hate. But also like, I really want those pants. I want those pants so bad. Oh.
One of the best brands that I've seen at Komune, and they're not local by any means, is Professor E.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're from Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to visit them when we were in Taiwan.
Yeah. They're like hard to find, right?
Well, they have a store,
Mm-hmm.
but the store is also the atelier.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They work there all week, and then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday or something, they're open really weird hours.
Cool.
Like 12 to 3 or
Yeah.
something. You can stop by for a little bit and
Cool.
shop while they're like taking their lunch break or some shit.
Yeah.
But they're just making all the clothes there.
Oh.
And then all of that stuff is so reasonably priced.
Yeah. Same thing with another brand I really like is Office H. I think it's another. I don't know where they're based actually. But yeah. No, say more about Professor E. We might be talking to them later.
Yeah, so they're doing a pop-up at Komune, which is going to be really cool. But they make that kind of like peasant core suit thing, the like many layered suit that in such a like in a way that I really like. In a way that I would wear some of their stuff. I would mix it in with things I already wear, which is
Mix
hard to
the
do.
Professor E with the Rick.
I mix the Professor E with the Rick. And it's because Paul Harnden, Elena Dawson, you are paying like $3,000 for a suit jacket from those people with unfinished everything.
Yeah.
You're paying them $3,000.
But it's blistered wool. You look like a chimney sweep, my guy.
They accidentally shrank this blazer in the dryer, and that costs an extra $2,000.
Do you think we could sell this to a stupid kid? Yeah, I mean, we shrunk it in the fucking one.
Well, the thing was, it's meant to be an extra large, but I put it in the wash, right? And I know what you're thinking. I'm a Pollock. Pillock? What's that? I'm a Pillock. I'm real daft, but there's this kid Bailey Anders.
This kind of looks like fucking shit, isn't it? Yeah, but could we price it at $5,000? Yeah, I think we could.
If we said it was an extra small,
Are they
do you think
British?
Bailey Anders would buy it?
Are they British?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're
Okay,
British.
Cool. It's cool to make fun of British people, everybody.
Yeah, it's totally fine to make fun
Long
of
live the
British people.
IRA.
Yeah, no, like, but Bailey was trying on Professor E stuff, and it looked so correct on him. Finally, but it was like, but their suit jackets are like $300.
It's also so funny. All of the Paul Harden stuff is made for somebody who's like 5'5".
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like I put it on, it's like clearly this was cut for somebody in like the 1820s who had like rickets.
Yeah, someone who's like not had a drop of milk in their life, not a single like ion of calcium has passed through their body in the last month.
I would have been a god at like schoolyard rugby.
Yeah, they can't wait for their birthday because they can finally take a bath.
I think that's the way Bailey lives
they
now.
They get the fresh water. You know, it's their birthday. They get to be in the bathtub first before the rest of the family.
Fuck. Anyway, as we finish yamming on stupid brands that are really expensive, let's talk about other
Professor
brands.
E, sorry, that suit jacket was like $300-something.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
even if you go to, like, if you buy a suit jacket from anywhere that costs less than $300, that's scary.
I'll talk a little bit of shit, as I'm prone to do on the podcast. I went to Drake's when I was trying to buy a suit for work. And their suits are nice. They have nice, like, double-breasted suits. I know it's sort of a darling of a lot of, like, fashion guys in New York. I wanted my pants cut in a certain way, and I wanted the jacket tailored, and they told me they couldn't do it without an extra price. And the suit is, like, $1,300, $1,400. And I was like, that's fucking ridiculous. And they also didn't have shit that fit me the way that I wanted to. And I was like, if you're going to be doing bespoke suits and charging $1,400 for a suit, you need to at least offer some degree of.
Well, they're not bespoke, are they?
I don't think so.
No, bespoke is that it would be made for you.
Yeah. I think they do. Like, you can pick like the fabric that it's in, and I think like.
Oh,
the fact that I can't find a 40R.
It's being made to order, but you can't.
I think so. That's sort of how I understand it. Maybe I've got it wrong. I will apologize to Drake's if I've had this wrong, but I was very underwhelmed by what you got for the price at that store. I got a vintage Ralph Lauren suit for $120 at Fine and Dandy. I had it tailored for $400 because I had to have everything fixed. That suit fit me better than anything I tried on or anything I looked at Drake's. And it's a really nice suit.
$400 sounds like a crazy tailor bill. $500 for a suit is so cheap.
Yeah. I mean, to give you reference, what I had to do to that suit, and shout out to, it's Bostonian Tailoring. He's in Boston. I will literally go up to Boston for Richard. Wonderful guy. I had to get the legs taken out, seat reduced, thighs taken in, sleeves let out of the jacket, body brought in. He had to recut the shoulder pads and the shoulders because they were too far up and out, even though it was a 40R, which is my suit size. He had to match the lengths of the sleeves because they had been cut differently. And then he also had to add in lining in the bottom, in the back to match the venting. Like, for $400, like, holy shit, this guy's a wizard.
That's pretty crazy.
He basically recut the entire suit together. Anyway, $300 for Professor
Shoulder
E.
work is always...
Shoulder work sucks, especially if it has pads. It's just a mess. And then he also made sure the armholes were cut correctly because when you recut the shoulders, you cut the, it's a fucking mess. If you're not a tailor, this probably doesn't apply. It's hard. Just take it that way. The stuff in Komune looks great. As far as I can tell, is pretty well made. And I asked Martin, I was like, I really like this black merle sweater. It's a sheer see-through one. I had one from...
was that the kind of spiderwebby one?
Yeah. Okay. I think I had one from... It was either the Soloist or... who's the melty Converse guy?
Oh, no, it is. That is the Soloist.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I had a sweater from him, and I sold it. I loved it. I was like, black merle sort of looks similar. But I asked Martin, I was like, I will wear this sweater into the ground. Michael knows when I like a piece of clothing, it's on me every single day, like keep my fucking denim, like my sweaters, whatever it is. I was like, will this hold up? And Martin was like, the knit is sort of loose. I wouldn't recommend you wear this every day, especially if you're wearing it hard. It'll probably degrade, which is sort of the way that it's supposed to look, but I don't think this is what you're looking for. Which, first of all, I really commend Martin. Like, I probably would have bought that sweater in some capacity, but I also would have come out of it and been like, oh, fuck, like this isn't what I wanted. Maybe it soured my relationship with the brand or even Komune or even him. This is all to say that like I really like what they're doing there. I really like the brands that they carry. If you can't tell, I like Black Merle. Like again, the kids are going to be all right, and I'm very happy about that.
This is an hour of just talking about how much we love like 3 or 4 different stores and brands. But
no, but I do think it is important to acknowledge that
Pair of Kings Positivity Hour has finally happened.
We did it, yeah.
We didn't even plan it.
I
but
shat
it
on
happened.
Drake's for a little bit, but that's okay.
That's fine.
No, I do think it is really important because especially during and after COVID, the New York City fashion scene had died a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a problem in New York where you have people that have been a part of the fashion scene for a long time who, because other people weren't there, they can just say, oh, it was X. Oh, it was Y. It was great. I think one of the cool things about the podcast is we're in New York. Maybe you're not if you're listening, but as a sort of record of the times, I think it is quite cool to feel like there is a community and a feeling and a like there's something happening, which is great. And again, I also want to acknowledge Michael and I are in a very privileged position where we can go to these events and see these people. But these stores and these brands are accessible to you. If you're in New York, you can walk in, and I can't say I guarantee, but I certainly hope you'll have a very similar experience.
Things like this or stores like that are very intimidating, and I understand that. Like, I think if I was like a high schooler,
Yeah.
Standing outside of Komune, I would be so scared to go talk to those people.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, if you like make eye contact and say hi to someone, they will be so friendly to you.
Yeah. Like,
Everybody there, so nice, so friendly.
Yeah.
I have one of those like spiderweb kind of knit sweaters.
It's from Rick.
It's a Rick one.
Yep.
It's one of the like he's done much more like stringy spiderwebby ones.
Yeah, I've seen
He
those.
did a like the original one he did was back in 2013, 14, called a Psycho Knit.
Yep.
It's like, you know, every stitch is like completely, it's really like very engages. It has wider arms than most Rick sweaters.
Sure.
And I wore it with a Rick coat that has very tight
oh,
arms.
fuck.
And it rubbed against the armpit.
And just decimated it?
Ripped one thread and the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're talking like really uneven, like untraceable stitch lines, and they all kind of unraveled. My mother put it back together.
No way.
Yeah, she
Hell
like
yeah.
she I don't in you know you couldn't tell you if it's the correct way it went together,
Yeah.
but it looks identical.
There's
it's just
a
like threaded through in such a weird like.
There's a very cool series of
Ricochet.
knits from Vivian Westwood when she was starting out, when it was I believe the store was just called Sex. They knit a bunch of very loose spiderweb knits in black and white striped that usually had like chicken bones hanging off of them. They're really cool.
Chicken bones?
That would spell out sex. Very punk.
Yeah.
This was in, I believe, the mid to late 80s, if I have my
love
timing
Young
correct.
Thug.
What you know about Thugger? Yeah. Sorry, Yana. Can you throw up what do you know about sex? And then the kid is saying what you know about Thugger. That great meme. Anyway, so they, at least in the books and fashion history that I've read, knit them on broomsticks to get that loose of a gauge. Raph Simmons also did a really loose knit, I believe, in Disorder, Isolation, Incubation, whatever the fuck it is. I'm sorry, Disorder, Confusion, Isolation. That has that
Power,
really loose
Corruption,
knit.
and Lies?
There's a. I'm not going to explain a fucking joke to make a joke. That's lame. But did that same sort of loose knit. I think it's really interesting for somebody that wears the fuck out of their clothes. I don't think that's feasible for me. Uh-oh. Anyway. What's the term that we're going to coin right now? Because we got to be the first ones to do it. This sort of like, not streetwear revival, but like, I wouldn't say luxury streetwear because that sucks and also sort of demeans it.
And already kind of exists.
It's weird, but it's like New York Fashion Rebirth, where it is coming back. Because for a long time, a lot of the people that showed during New York City Fashion Week weren't from New York, and it fucking sucked.
This is also kind of like, I mean, it's like the thing you're describing to me with like Black Merlin stuff is like avant-garde, for like lack of a better blanket term.
Yeah, but it is accessible. I think the term that was connected to avant-garde sort of means it's way too expensive, at least in like conventional wisdom.
So avant-garde is an absolutely dead term, beaten to the fucking ground, doesn't mean anything.
Italian craftsmanship.
Artisanal.
Oh.
None of those words mean anything. Artisanal means it looks like it's falling apart.
I hit on Shardy in a distressed sweater. Call that artisanal. No, please. It was good.
People will call anything with a Rick tag on it avant-garde.
Correct.
That dude makes t-shirts and jeans, and people put that on and be like, you know, some light avant-garde.
Some light avant-garde.
none of those words mean anything.
Yeah.
Guidi is when your leather is dyed uneven. Or guidi, sorry. Artisanal is when your leather is dyed unevenly.
Sure.
Artisanal is when you suck at making stuff.
But it's $3,000.
But it's $3,000.
Should we call it artisanal in it?
It's right. Well, we put it in the dryer. Artisanal is like, because artisanal suggests handmade.
Yeah.
But these things are not handmade.
No.
So they're made to look, and the thing that makes handmade stuff appear handmade is imperfections.
Correct.
Artisanal clothing is made to look like someone who doesn't know what they're doing made it.
It's like when artists draw, like, my kid made this, but it's clearly an artist using their offhand.
Like, yeah, like the artisanal is refers to a process and like a dedication to a process. The production of something can be artisanal.
Mm-hmm.
If that object then looks artisanal, you're saying it looks like someone made it themselves.
Yeah.
Which then means if it tangibly
Yeah.
a real artisanal person, in my opinion, should be able to make something and it doesn't look like it was handmade.
Can we just call this new wave? Because that's sort of what it is. It's a lot of smaller designers who...
Oh, I'm just yelling about artisanal. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm just calling like the movement in general. I think it is sort of new wave. And here's why.
We've had too many new waves.
Not in fashion, have we?
There's been I don't know. New wave is a problem
Yes.
because like modernism
Sure.
is a art term
Yes.
for art that is no longer modern.
Correct.
We cannot use it as a timekeeping concept. We can't say because you say modern
Sure.
art now,
Sure.
and you are either referring to a very specific period of art or you're referring to art someone made yesterday.
Can we call it post-pandemic new wave?
Post-pandemic, we're onto something.
Sure.
But I also, I think that there are a lot of different scenes happening at once.
That's true.
And it's hard to corify it.
Don't corify it. That I kind of like that. No, I don't want it to be like, this is new core. Yeah, go to Komune. It's new core. Like, that's gonna make it corny. And the last thing I want is for it to be corny.
The thing that you want is for a brand. So this is sort of a tangent.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to Dance Gavin Dance a lot.
Cool.
Dance Gavin Dance is they were when I was in high school, they were like a cool band for the scene kids to listen to. They were a post-hardcore band that was kind of like a little weird and funky with it. Like they were the first one of the first post-hardcore bands to get like groovy guitars and like synths occasionally.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if like synths is weird. Synth is like club music. They had like just like music that didn't sound like hardcore anymore, but was definitely hardcore. That the like rhythm guitarist of that group is called Will Swan.
Sure.
He was sort of responsible for that like very groovy sound.
Sure.
And he started a label.
Yep.
Which I think is just called Swan Records or something.
Sure.
Bands signed to it are all, of course, bands that he likes. So very similar to him.
Yep.
They all sort of like clearly listen to Dance Gavin Dance. That has become Swancore. Swancore is a like searchable genre that will specifically give you bands that sound like Dance Gavin Dance, and it's entirely because of them.
Can we do OrchardCore?
OrchardCore.
I just don't want core as part of it. Does it have to have it?
It doesn't have to, but it's much easier to talk.
OrchardCore is fine. I like it.
OrchardCore.
So, again, added context, if you're ever in the Lower East Side of New York and you walk down Orchard Street, that's where most of the fashion stores are. And sort of the new, smaller ones. They got ousted from Soho. There was an area in Soho, sort of at the bottom, right above Canal Street. I'm blanking on the name.
I hate to say it, but Dime Square plays a part in this.
It does. That's fine. I'm not bringing Dime Square into it because it goes farther up. And I think
the Dare isn't a good musician.
The Dare fucking sucks. Let's be honest.
Sorry.
That Sam Hine article, Hine, whatever.
No, Sam Hyde is the right winger.
Oh, my bad. Sam Hine, tall guy, super low voice. Reading that article about the Dare, it's like a Wattpad fanfic. It's like he walked into a bar. He's British in my head. He walked into a bar.
Sam Hine?
Yeah.
He also doesn't have a deep voice.
He doesn't?
No.
I spoke to him once. I thought I don't know why. That was something that like I remember about him.
Maybe it was
All
just
right, whatever. This is my Sam Hine impression. Sam Hine, I apologize if this is not how you sound. For some reason, I thought you had a really deep voice. Also, your writing is similar like this. Okay. He walks into a bar. 3 blonde women, the most beautiful women in the bar, immediately come over, and there's a group
Australian?
of I don't know, dude. Just let me mock something. 3 women come over. Immediately, 3 guys in Emilion Dore hats are immediately jealous as the dare walks in and fucks the most beautiful women in front of me. It's so majestic, and he's so hot, mysterious. Like, the whole thing read like that. And I was just like, oh my God, dude. Like, at a certain point, it reads like he's paying you to talk about how fuckable he is. Like, oh my God, please stop.
STD sound system.
I love it. Did you just come up with that?
No, I've been calling the Dare STD sound system for a really long time. But at one point in my life, I did come up with it on the spot.
It's really good.
I will tell you that much.
Okay, so
He
OrchardCore.
listened. The Dare listened to "Drunk Girls" by LCD Sound System,
It's
and
the same fucking song.
made that song
Yeah.
his entire personality.
Yeah, it's fine.
Good song, bad fanfic.
Yeah. OrchardCore, like if you walking up and down Orchard, thank you. There are a lot of brands that exist on that strip. And they don't anymore for some of them. Like Mia Vesper, which wasn't great, like I still think falls into this category where there is a revival of not conventional streetwear as we knew it from 2016 to 2019, but this post-COVID, like you threw a bunch of, again, good designers, things that people loved, and the kids growing up on that, like my age or younger or even slightly older, grew up on, threw them into a blender. These kids got maybe restless during COVID. A lot of these brands did start during COVID, or they had been kicked around, yada, yada, yada. And they got spat out the other side, and they make really good stuff.
Cafe Forgot is on Orchard.
Oh.
And is also like sort of a precursor, like an earlier one of these, but does carry a lot of those like
Yeah.
local brands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we reference that instead? Is that nicer?
What do you mean?
Just like as an area of effect? Should be like forgot core.
No.
I'm fine with OrchardCore. I'm coining that. Fine, we're sticking by it. That's cool.
OrchardCore.
Yep.
But
But again, no, like you walk up and down Orchard, you see that's where a lot of the fashion kids hang out. Like Colbo's on that street. That's where all the TikTok boys hang out. Commune's on that street now. I assume the TikTok boys will hang out outside of there.
Self-Edge.
Self-Edge is there. I would say they carry a lot of Mersby Schweinen.
Yep.
Right.
Country of is around
Country of is also around there. That's the next street over.
There's-
Essex is around there.
there.
Fugazi's there.
Manhattan
Yep. Manhattan.
sells all the like Japanese import brands.
There's a store. Oh God, I call it the scary vintage store. It's like a dust vintage, desert vintage.
There's quite a few like
Laura Kaleji,
yeah.
also very indicative. Like
What's the one right next to Great Frog?
it's they sell all the comb. Well, that's
Yeah.
Laura Kaleji. Is right next to the Great Frog.
Oh, there's another one.
There's another one. Yeah, they
Yeah.
sell all the Issei and comb stuff.
Yeah.
If you're ever in New York, walk up and down, and you will understand that like this is, in my opinion, driving a lot of fashion for people between the ages of like 15 and 29. And the Emily
Fuck me, I
stuff,
guess.
you're fine, Michael. You're part of this.
Oh, Awake opened on Orchard as well.
I don't love Awake, but yes. There's also Seven Wonders, which is women's
Oh, yeah.
clothing, right? Like this is, I think, personally, the epicenter of fashion for younger people right now. And no shade to Throwing Fits, but I think that their idea of New York fashion is slightly older. It is Drake's, it is Aimé Leon Dore, it is Noah, which is more established in Soho, which a lot of these smaller brands got priced out of, which is okay. It is fashion. I understand it. People really love those brands. But you go and you look at the line at Basketcase, which is on Broome Street, but they had another pop-up that was very close to Orchard, if not on Orchard Street, I forget. But this is what these kids are wearing. They're not, I'm sorry, they're not wearing Aimé Leon Dore. They're not wearing Drake's. They're wearing Basketcase. They're wearing Fugazi. In some cases, they're wearing some of the brands they carry at Komune.
We went to the Basketcase pop-up, and then we went all around, and then we went to Komune, and
It's the same people.
like, yeah. 7 or 8 of the people in line at Komune were all had Basketcase bags.
One of them asked Michael to be his mentor. It was really cute.
I feel like I fumbled that. I should have been. I was like, huh, me?
It was really cute.
Yeah.
The kid was so sweet.
Yeah.
But again, like it's really cool. And again, you don't have to be in New York to participate. If you're listening to this, I assume you're at least aware of all these brands. And I think one of the really wonderful things is some of these brands have yet to like really explode. I think if you have questions, you can message, as long as you're not fucking annoying. Like, what are the measurements on this? Look at the website. Don't be irritating. But like, you know, I think a lot of these people are really accessible, and it's something that has also come out of post-COVID times where everybody just wanted to fucking talk to people and were trapped in their fucking houses. It's super cool. If you have the chance to come out to New York, go there. If you can go to one place, go to Orchard Street. Yeah. Any closing thoughts? We did something. We coined a term. Hell yeah, go us. It does have core in it, but that's fine. It's memorable. It'll stick.
Core exists for a reason.
That's fair.
Corchard.
Yeah. That sounds too basketball-y almost.
Corchard?
Yeah, like Court.
I
do like it though. You could it could be like the little, that's so Corchard. That's not terrible actually. I don't hate that. I said that jokingly. Maybe it's terrible.
It's terrible. It's okay. It's meant
Let
to be
us
terrible.
know. Meh.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we get out of here, song of the week.
Song of the week.
We should really make this playlist. A lot of people have asked. I'm sorry.
Oh, you haven't done it yet?
I thought you were doing it. I'm sorry.
Oh.
We got our wires crossed.
My brother in Christ, you make the playlist.
Yeah, my bad. I will do that.
I am going to put 2 songs on it.
Ooh, okay.
And I think I might have actually already put one of these on a playlist.
That's fine.
I'm going to put Rush Home Ruffians by the Smiths.
Sure. Listen, I love his political views, and then I had to listen to his fucking music. What the hell is he on?
I love that joke.
That's a joke.
And then after that, I am going to put Four Fires by Me Without You.
Okay.
And
I thought you were going to put
why-
on the song that I'm going to put on. But yeah, why are you putting on Four Fires?
Because the Smiths is one of those bands that you can trace very direct references to them in a lot of bands you maybe wouldn't expect it.
Sure.
So a lot of these like scene and like post-hardcore and like more like alt rock type bands directly pull lyrics from Smith songs.
Yeah.
In recontextualized ways.
Yep.
So Rush Home Ruffians has this line that's like, and though I might walk home alone, I might walk home alone, but my faith and love is still devout.
Yep.
And Four Fires is a song about this guy's dad dying.
Fuck.
And his mother telling him about it. And
Fuck.
And the like refrain is like his faith and love was still devout.
Oh.
They borrow the like and I could probably go through like 5 or 6 different
The Beach
artists.
House references the Smiths.
Yeah.
Yeah. Superstar?
I think so.
There's a light going out tonight. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Superstar.
Yeah. And there's so
I
many
fucking love that song.
there's
It's so beautiful.
so many bands that I listened to for a really long time before I listened to the Smiths.
Yeah.
And then I was listening to a song and I was like, wait,
That's that.
oh shit,
Yeah.
that's that reference.
I call it in Pin, which is one of Grimes' songs off of Art Angels. I fucking love that album. She references Midsummer Night's Dream, If You Pardon I Will Mend. That's Puck, who I played in our production in high school. And she also references Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. She says, and I saw your reflection. And she does the same intonation, which is really cool. I'm very happy I caught that. I was like, wait, is that Fleetwood Mac? Anyway, my song, which I thought you were going to pick, is 100 Years.
Oh God, that's such a good
song.
fucking 5 for Fighting,
for
100 Years. The other night, I sat on the roof with my friends till like 3 a.m. just listening to like 90s radio jams.
So part of a story behind that song is I would go to Nantucket a lot as a kid, and there was a cappella group called the Cobbletones that would perform. This is like, if you don't know the Cobbletones, I think you're an asshole that goes to Nantucket. Like, you would go and watch them. They were very good. Like, high school, college age guys. They draw a pretty big crowd. It's like what you do in town at night instead of just like being a degenerate and driving drunk. But they would do was it long jacket, short skirt and a long jacket?
Yeah. Wait,
Yeah.
Cake?
I want a girl with
That's Cake.
Yeah. They did 100 Years, and they did Superman and Walking in Vegas. great songs. They had other songs. Those are the like 4 that really stick in my brain, and that I really associate with them. They also did Blackbird, I think.
Blackburn.
It's the song that everybody plays on guitar, but they did like an acapella cover of it. They were really good, at least in my like 5-year-old brain. Anyway, that's what I remember. So 100 years, I have very fond memories of that song being like, these guys rock. They're so cool. I want to sing when I'm older. I didn't, unfortunately. But any closing thoughts, Michael?
No. That's
Oh,
where
we're
I'm
really
at.
excited for Fashion Week. We're gonna we so many interviews. We have to update our Google sheet.
Yeah, we got to schedule some interviews with like 3 different people.
It's gonna be busy. We're gonna be working
Busy.
for all you guys because we love you. We also love doing this. Yeah. Offer still on the table. First person that sees me at Komune and says hi to me, I'll buy you a cup of coffee. That'd be cool. Any closing words?
That's it.
Cool. Thank you so much to everybody for listening to this episode of the Pair of Kings podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Pair of Kings Pod. You can like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. That really helps at Pair of Kings Podcast. You can also get extra episodes, access to episodes early, and access to giveaways. We are doing a Commune store credit this time around that will close on Monday, September 19th at herohero.co/POK. Thank you so much to everybody for listening. Don't forget to rate us also on Spotify. That really helps. But I'm your host, Saul Thompson. You can find me on Instagram at Saul Thompson. I'm joined this week by my wonderful co-host.
I'm your wonderful co-host, Michael Smith. You can find me on Instagram at @_Smithstagram.
And this has been the Pair of Kings podcast, where once a week, every week for the foreseeable future, we are bringing you business as usual tomfoolery as planned. Take care and have a great Thursday for all the Hero Hero subscribers, or great Tuesday for everybody else. Bye, everybody. Take care.